we're so focused on making sure that the end user has a good experience, and positive word of mouth for us is the way we market. And the value really comes in not necessarily in the first year, but in year 6, 7, 8, as you go along and your compressor is still running.
Hey, what's happening? Barnaby here. So you want to know more about ROLAIR compressors? Well, you are in luck because we've got Mike Kelley, VP of ROLAIR. Mike, what we call this is a one-on-one, where we want to familiarize people with the history of the company, your eye on innovation, your thoughts on customer service, and things like that. Because if people are going to buy one of these machines, they want to know who they're doing business with. So, fun fact to know and tell about you. Basketball player, huh?
Allegedly, yeah. We can go back in the archives. Thankfully, we can get on the internet. My kids don't believe me anymore. They think I'm too slow to ever play basketball.
But you were in the Final Four.
Did make the Final Four, and we're in Michigan right now, and it's a sore spot because we lost to Michigan State in the Final Four back in 2000.
All righty. But you went on to become the heir to the compressor fortune, right? Because you're third generation.
I am third generation, yeah. Very proud to be a family-owned business. My grandfather actually, he didn't start the company, but he was selling saddles, like you'd see back here on this compressor. So he was selling steel at the time, and ROLAIR needed a national sales manager, so the guy who owned the business asked him if he would start on there. He started selling the compressors, and then eventually, just 6 years later, offered to buy, and since then it's been in our family, and very proud of that.
He liked the company so much he bought it.
Yes, he did. That's a good way to put it.
Yeah, okay. Well, you know, it is interesting because ROLAIR, people looking at this video, there might be a problem with name recognition, certainly with the younger generation, and we found that to be true with our tool tester, Jason Reckner. When he tested one of these, he made this statement.
ROLAIR is, when I brought it on the job site, originally when I saw the name, I didn't recognize it. The boss did. He said all he could remember, you know, his uncles and whatnot when they were building, talking about getting a ROLAIR. And the way it looks to me is they've kind of focused on their segment of the market, and they do what they do very well.
So how do you react to that?
You know, we get that a lot. We have a big market share among professional contractors, but typically it tends to be an older audience because of the fact that they've seen them on job sites, they know what lasts. A lot of people will try maybe a cheaper compressor, and it doesn't last for a long time, and then they step up and they spend the money on a ROLAIR. You know, we're not a big power tool company. We sell compressors. We focus on compressors. You won't see us sponsoring the X Games or on the side of a NASCAR. So we don't have that household name, but what we do have is a great quality product. And the value really comes in not necessarily in the first year, but in year 6, 7, 8. As you go along and your compressor is still running, that's when you start to realize it was worth the investment that you put in.
Okay, let's put on our X-ray goggles and look inside the machine and try to figure out why does this last longer than maybe the competition?
Well, it depends on the compressor. Most of our direct drives, this would be a direct drive compressor, have S1 rated 100% duty cycle motors. So many people don't ask that question up front, is it a universal or is it an induction motor? And I don't want to get too technical, but universal motors are typically used in vacuum cleaners, things like that. They can run an air compressor, they sure can, but they're not going to last very long. You'll get anywhere from 50 to 150 hours.
Okay.
So you don't know that on the front end, but eventually you realize, oh, this thing isn't going to last.
Right.
We use induction motors, all copper windings, good quality that are going to last years and years, even 100% duty cycle motors, so you can run our compressors nonstop without voiding the warranty.
Okay, and so your granddaddy was born of steel beginnings, so let's talk about the componentry. I mean, because we heard from our tool tester once again about the welds, about just how solid a machine it felt like. So is that part of the design plan?
Well, you see a roll cage on this compressor, absolutely, and we were actually the first one. Pancake compressors have been around a long time, and typically you see a pancake. This is a hot dog tank, but pancakes typically have been laid flat, and Dennis Schmidt, who runs our entire operation in the factory, is also a farmer, and one of his great ingenious ideas he came up with while he was on his tractor was to turn that pancake vertical and create a roll cage design so that you could literally roll a compressor all the way through a job site and you never hit the pump, motor, anything like that. And so that was one of the first earliest things we did, was started to design a compressor so that you could take a fall, any of this lumber could fall on top, and you're not going to hit the pressure switch, you're not going to hit the pump. You might hit the filter on this one, but filter, a very cheap component.
What is interesting as I look at this, what I see is just kind of basic, right? I mean, not a lot of bells and whistles. What you see is what you get. Is that kind of an impediment for you guys as you go forward trying to sell?
Well, it is an interesting proposition, because on the front end, bells and whistles are great and they look really neat. Oftentimes, however, what you find is those are the first things to break on a compressor. So while this is a very simple design, it's also very practical. It's going to last a long time. There's not a lot of things that can go wrong. And I think that's what you're looking for when you want a compressor that you're going to spend money in, is something that's going to last a long time.
Yeah, okay. And you know, it's not like it's easy to find this compressor for sale. You can't walk into one of your major retailers and find it, right? Where do you get them?
We're very devoted to the STAFTA channel, Specialty Tool and Fasteners Distributors Association is what STAFTA stands for. And so depending on where you are around the country, you can go on our website, you'll see a dealer locator. And we're focused on partnering with the STAFTA channel, making sure that professional contractors who buy professional tools go to those places to find a good ROLAIR compressor. We don't want our current distribution to have to compete against box houses, and that loyalty is really reciprocated. We've got the #1 market share in that channel, and for that reason.
Okay, well, let's talk about price and also customer service. So when you do decide if that's what you're going to do to buy one of these, is it going to break the bank or is it going to be somewhat reasonable?
It's actually pretty reasonable, all things considered, when you consider how far it's going to go. Is it going to be a little more expensive than a cheaper oilless you get at a box house? Certainly, but those are more for filling up tires on your bike and on your car and that sort of thing. This is for a contractor. And as far as customer service goes, it is definitely a differentiator for us. We have our phone number on our website, which nowadays, it's pretty hard to find a phone number. No one wants you to call. They don't want to pick up the phone. But you can call us during normal business hours. We're located in Wisconsin, and you're going to talk to one of our customer service reps. They'll walk you through. Sometimes our guys are on the phone for 30 minutes, 45 minutes. It's not necessarily what you'd probably read in a business book on how you should do it, but we're so focused on making sure that the end user has a good experience. And positive word of mouth for us is the way we market.
Well, I think that's the way it should be done, reading the older style of business book. You know, customer service, one-on-one, caring, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, and then lastly, the warranty. You say this is good for the long haul. That's going to be the differentiator. Let's talk about number of years you stand behind it.
It's a 1-year warranty on all our products, or 1.5 years from date of manufacture, depending on when you get it. And then beyond that, it's a matter of easily accessible parts. We've got over 500 service centers around the country. So within the warranty period, obviously everything is taken care of for as far as manufacturer defects. And then beyond that, if you need to get a part, we've got them all available online or stocked throughout the country.
Excellent. All right, man. Thanks for all the good information.
All right, thanks so much.
Because you know what? It is all about information, and that's what we do here at toolselect.com. We get to the bottom of things so you can feel comfortable finding the right tool for the job.